show? 321 Contact.
No,
Good morning.
Never heard of it. Good morning.
Do you all know that show, 321 Contact? Remember from PBS? I don't know. Mazzy counted down the minutes or the seconds, and it just reminded me of that. I gotta look that up and see. All right, it's Friday. It's the Friday before the long weekend that starts the summer. Amazing. Think where you were this Friday last year. In some ways, we've come incredible amounts of time. I mean, there are, lengths, incredible lengths. And in other ways, things feel kind of similar. But boy, remarkable. Remarkable what a year can do. So, let's get to our questions. We have a number of them. Some of them are sort of statements just for you to consider. Can you hold this just for 1 second,
Sure.
please? Thank you. Okay. Got it. Thanks. How do you navigate real situations when your brain takes it to a whole new catastrophic level? Have you ever had a boots on the ground and a bird's eye view moment, and what has been your reaction? So this is based on our Monday conversation about what happened at brunch last Sunday. Have you ever had one of those moments, Dr. Mary, where you were sort of in it and observing it simultaneously?
I don't honestly think so.
Yeah, well, that's not really your personality.
No.
Did you ever feel that way, though, when you were drinking? Like, did you ever have, this feels like it could be moving out of control, and looking down and thinking, what's happening?
I did think like that a lot, but I wouldn't classify it as that.
Okay. Is there a way you would classify it? Because I've never thought about that question for you.
I think it would be more like my tiny little voice screaming at me and me ignoring it.
Your cute little lucky leprechaun voice?
Yeah.
Are you even more Irish in your head, do you suppose, than you are externally?
Probably, which could be quite frightening.
What the feck are you doing? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, something like that. You fucking gobshite.
Yeah, lots of swears probably in your head.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, I think it's an interesting reflection point to just stop and think about. And if it's not something you've ever experienced, it's because you don't have that controlling temperament, or because perhaps you've never been out of control.
Which, if you haven't, congratulations.
Congratulations, absolutely. You have your own struggles, but it's not that. All right. How often do you let someone know, whether you know them or not, that something they have done matters to you, that you appreciate them, that they're valuable to you? Who do you need to appreciate over this long weekend? So this comes from your conversation with a staff person at MSUM who took the moment while she was looking for your document to just tell you how important Daily Dose is to her. Who are the people in your life who you have thought something positive about and never told? Because I'm here to tell you, I don't care what kind of personality you have. I'm very clear about, I don't care what other people think of me, like me, don't like me. That's on you, not me. If you don't like me, you're a fool. Get the hell out of my way. I really believe that. That being said, I still appreciate being told that something I've done matters. I really do. I don't know anybody who thinks, I don't care about that compliment, or who looks at someone telling them something positive and thinks, who are you to talk to me? I don't know anybody like that. It's why, so we have this funny thing. I am kind of weird about supper. So if I make supper and I say to Mazzy, what do you think? And he goes, that's good. That is the equivalent to, this is the worst thing I've ever eaten in my life. Who let you in the kitchen?
Only in your head.
I know, because like sometimes I'll make a cheese sandwich and he treats it like we're sitting, at a state dinner at the White House. So yeah, it's good. It pushes my anxiety to a very weird place. So my point is just, it doesn't matter how confident you are. It doesn't matter how much you think you don't care about what other people think. It's lovely to hear a compliment, so be the kind of person who gives a compliment who lets someone know that you've mattered to them. Because here's what I think is true. When you get to, let's say you have someone who you admire for whatever reason, and you think, well, I'm not going to tell them that. And then they die. You're going to feel bad that you didn't bother to say to them, that thing you did mattered to me, or I noticed that, or thank you. You're going to feel bad about it. So just do it. You have a whole extra day this week. Why don't you take one little piece of that day and let someone know that they've mattered? And it doesn't need to be some formal grand gesture. It just needs to be a quick little text message, an email. You're talking to someone on the phone, whatever. It's easy to do and it matters. It matters.
It's true. I mean, there's loads of these memes all over the place, especially now, especially over the last year. I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, we even saw it on chalk on the ground. Children wrote it. If you can be anything, you can be in a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Yes.
You have no idea what's going through anyone's head
Nope.
at any moment. They could be having an inner struggle. Just an honest to God, polite word is like more so now than ever the nicest thing you can do for someone.
Absolutely. And it costs you nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you a damn
but
thing.
a little bit of time. So do that. How many areas of your life are a gray area? Few things are black and or white. Most things are gray. So how do you navigate those areas? Are you paying attention to them and monitoring how they may be moving towards black? I think it was a really valuable thing to realize that you don't have that moment where you thought, I have a problem. It was gray to gray to gray to gray to gray to gray to gray. And then it became black. And you lived in black for a really long time. We lived in black. So think about your gray areas, your relationships, your how you deal with food, money, religion, your place in the world. Whatever it is.
Maybe even your own opinion of yourself.
Absolutely.
Think about
Absolutely.
that.
There's a lot of gray to that.
You could be pushing yourself into some kind of weird black hole if you're not careful. And that's when you ask, or I mean, it's easy to say, ask for an opinion or ask for help. Sometimes it's a lot. I also know it's a lot harder to do that than you think, but you know, it's you owe it to yourself to at least try.
And you owe it to the people around you to try. Somebody will be sad if you're not here.
Yeah.
So figure out what gray areas of your own life you need to honestly assess. I'll go back to what Maz says all the time. If you're taking an assessment, take the assessment, whether it's a formal one or something in your mind, go back, get honest, go back and double it. And I mean, not everything fits that category, but a lot of it probably does. Go back and honestly assess the gray areas of your life. You might be surprised. And many of them are fixable. Many of them. Just because you're acknowledging them doesn't mean you can't change them. But to not acknowledge them is almost a certain slide into black, I think. All right, Representative Shannon Roars-Jones. Shannon, thank you so much for your
yesterday was
really
a fantastic conversation.
Really moving conversation. I
salute your honesty.
I do too, and your vulnerability. So thank you for that. But Shannon joined us to discuss her alcohol journey. She talked about her childhood growing up around alcohol as part of the adults in her life, everyday lives. There's a cultural element to the social acceptance of alcohol. Was that an experience you had? Oh, I can't read today. Was that an experience you had, and has it shaped your own relationship to alcohol today? Now, fill in the blank of alcohol and see what relationships you have to substances, things, or beliefs that are directly from your childhood. Does that change the way you think about it? One thing that I thought about when I was putting this question together was, what if I inserted church? Church was absolutely a part of my childhood. It was a part of my entire extended circle's childhood. All of my friends went to the same church I did pretty much. We were friends with their families, so we were all together all the time. We all did choir on Wednesdays. We did confirmation. We went to Sunday school. We went to church. We went to Bible camp. I mean, there was a rhythm and a cycle to church that permeated my entire childhood. So for me to, as an adult in my 40s, decide to step away from that was a significant mental, physical, and emotional shift for me. That I still am trying to work through. I still wake up on Sundays with a weird feeling that I'm sitting in my robe not getting ready for church. It's very different than your childhood experience, which has impacted how you view it as an adult today. You have no guilt over not going to church.
No.
Which isn't a criticism. It's just that's been your experience. And that's not the case for me. I wouldn't say I have guilt. I would say I'm just aware of it. So it doesn't need to be something that is, going to eventually kill you if you don't get a handle on it. Shannon's husband would say, I don't mind that you drink. I just don't like it when you're drunk. Can you relate to that? Here are some fill-ins. I don't mind that you shop. I just don't like it when you max out the credit card. I don't mind that you gamble. I just don't like it when you gamble away our car. I don't mind that you wake up in the middle of the night and eat a little snack. I just don't like it that you wake up in the middle of the night and eat a bag of potato chips, a quart of ice cream, whatever. Again, so often you hear us say this over and over and over again. Our example is alcohol because that is the most present hurdle in our lives. You can fill that blank in for anything. Anything. I don't mind that you monitor what you eat. I just don't like that you go in and throw up after you've had lunch. It's all over the place.
Yeah,
everybody's got their fill in the blank.
Well,
I don't care who you are. I just looked at some pictures today of Kate Middleton. Kate Middleton looks perfect.
It's kind of
Perfect.
a job though, really, isn't it?
Well, yes, but Kate Middleton would have a fill in the blank. She just would. There's no way she doesn't. And I don't know that you get much more perfect than that. So
Yeah, everyone's got something going on.
think about it. I don't mind that you fill in the blank. I just don't like it when you fill in the blank. And that might be your spouse, your parent, your child, and it might be your own self-talk.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Thank you. First things first. That became Shannon's mantra, almost. She didn't say that. I'm putting that word on her. First things first. Take off the shoes, put down the bag, open the refrigerator, and pour a glass of wine. That, to me, was the most interesting part of that conversation.
That stuck with me all day, though.
Where she talked about, I didn't go in to read bedtime books to my girls without filling up my wine glass.
So it just didn't run out.
Think about that. Not from a place of judgment, just from that became her reality. How many of us make that our reality? It's incredible.
You know, it's worth taking a moment to do that, because I did things when I was drinking that I had no idea I was doing. It took me weeks to realise.
Like what, Dr. Mary?
That I was buying 2 bottles of alcohol and I had one downstairs. So if someone was monitoring the one upstairs, it wouldn't go down as quickly.
Yeah, this section where she talked about filling the glass before bedtime, where she talked about opening bottles of wine when no one was there, so that she was never opening a bottle of wine, she was finishing a bottle of wine. Well, if you have a bottle of wine in the refrigerator for 5 days because you had a half a glass every day for 5 days, that's very different than I had a bottle of wine and now I'm opening the second one. You can't judge someone if you didn't see when they opened the bottle.
And this is an interesting example of, for those of you who are watching this, and hopefully you will hit like and subscribe if you do so.
And share.
And share. Why alcoholism and an addiction is a disease is because the symptoms that you follow are all the same. Everyone does that to a certain extent. you get into this weird logic that I've made a plan, and this plan is that no one, if no one sees me opening something, then they can't say, what happened to the other one? Did you finish it? If you finish something, to you, that makes a lot of sense. Because if someone else opens a new one, it's on them, it's not on you. And that is indicative of any addict, especially an alcoholic. I can't say the same for finishing off a syringe. I've never taken intravenous
that's
drugs.
not been our experience.
Thankfully, because I don't want to put any light on that, because that is terrible.
Yeah.
That's a terrible addiction to get over. But anyway, every alcoholic would say the same thing. They had a plan that they were never seen opening a new bottle of something.
Well, and I think that having a plan, even an idiot plan, which they all are, having a plan helps you feel like, see, I'm in control of this. I planned it.
And another thing I've learned in going to AA, and we joke about it too, is the fact that they are idiot plans.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine, we were talking, and I was talking to him about, these really very classy and almost sexy adverts for really expensive alcohol, and you think it looks great, and he just said, yeah. Do you remember we had this conversation? We both agreed that we used to buy the plastic bottles because we thought it wouldn't make so much noise.
Yeah.
It's tragic and true, and loads of people think that. It's a logic that is a symptom of an addiction, which is why, and a great example of why it is a disease.
Yeah. Really interesting. Last question. No, thank you. It's simple, and more often than not, nobody will question you. Just try it in any situation and see how it goes. You do not have to make a big proclamation. Remember, Shannon said she didn't tell anyone because she didn't want the embarrassment of failing yet again. You do not need to say, no, thank you, I'm never going to drink again, starting right now. Never drinking again. Don't be stupid. Simply say no, thank you. And let me say this to you. If somebody says, why not? You don't owe anybody an answer. You don't owe anybody an answer. So, no thank you, and then just simply move on and take it one little no thank you at a time.
There's something that stuck in my head, and I wanted to mention it yesterday, and I didn't. Now, I remember this line from when I was a kid, from a TV show called MASH.
You're saying that like no one's heard of MASH.
Well, they might not. But
yeah, we don't have 18-year-olds watching this. Anyway,
if you are not aware of MASH, welcome to Earth.
Yeah. We're over our time, so go on, please.
There's an episode where they they actually try to take stock of how much they drink, bearing in mind that the characters in this TV show have a still in their tent. So there's a scene where at the end of they have a long haul in surgery, and then Hawkeye looks at his drink and he puts it down and he walks off and he says, "I'm coming back for that when I want it, not when I think I need it." And that has stuck in my head, even though I became an alcoholic. And when I stopped being an alcoholic and woke up to myself, that was one of the first things that went through my mind. And then my inner voice may have said, "Well, why the hell didn't you remember that, you idiot?"
Well,
but I just thinking about it a lot.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
And regret is pretty useless. Regret doesn't change it. It just stops you from moving forward.
So just saying no, thank you, and you can just if most people won't even push while you're saying no, thank you. You just say no, thank you.
You know why they won't push? Because they don't care about you. They care about them. That is the most freeing thing.
We're not that important.
It is not meant to make you feel insignificant. It is meant to remind you that no one is paying as much attention to you as you are. If you are at a restaurant and you don't order alcohol, you can think two things. Oh, the server assumes I'm an alcoholic. Or you can think the server doesn't give two friggin' hoots. They've already moved on to the other table. And if the server does assume you're an alcoholic, do you care? Who cares? Let them. Whatever. All right.
What the server's actually thinking is, oh, they'll be in a good mood when they've had another drink. I'm going to get a bigger tip.
Yeah, they might be disappointed from that standpoint. But Monday, we're coming in our jammies. We weren't going to do one, and then Mazzy said we could do it from our jammies, and that sounded very appealing to me. So we invite you to come in your jammies, or to sit on the boat, or on the deck, or wherever you want, and we will see you Monday morning. Have a great weekend.
Have a fantastic weekend.
Look at your gray areas and let somebody know that something they've done has mattered to
And
you.
also, it is Memorial Weekend, so take a moment to think about anyone that has served this country, because that's what Memorial Weekend is
Is
all
it
about.
just military people? Isn't it all lost people?
It's for the people who serve. Memorial Day is
Okay.
Veterans Day. Well,
It's for people who are actively serving. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is just for military people, I guess. And you'll be on the porch? Well, so will we. So we will see you and everyone else Monday morning. Happy weekend.
have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.